Dale, you are one of Labour's larger donors. Can I ask you, how have you reacted to Keir Starmer's donations controversy?
Well, I think it's like I think it's a drama in a teacup. You know, it's not a huge sum of money in the scheme of political donations. The kind of gifts that MPs routinely took under the last administration, it's really rather small. I think it's been blown up by the media, partly because there wasn't a lot of other news on. I think we've had a bit of a policy announcement vacuum in the lead up to conference, and I think it's unfortunate that it's been seen in the light of the taking of the winter fuel payments from pensioners. All of that has kind of turned it into a story when I don't think it really is a story.
On the winter fuel payments, do you not think that's a policy that Labour should renege on? Do you think they're going in the right direction with that?
No, I think it's right, actually. I think that pensioners have been well looked after by the triple lock. They will get another £400 a year come this April. Over the last decade, the triple lock has lifted millions of pensioners out of poverty, while millions of children have gone into poverty. Now, there are now twice as many children in poverty in our country as there are pensioners, and I think it is right to have some balance, and I'm hoping we'll see, maybe in the budget, announcements on child poverty.
One of the reasons that you moved your donations from Just Stop Oil to the Labour Party were because you foresaw them getting into government and you saw them putting climate at the forefront of their agenda. Has that come to fruition?
Well, I didn't move my donations. I just said I'm not going to fund Just Stop Oil anymore because the protests themselves were counterproductive. The Tories were weaponising them to attack Labour, who I hoped would win the next election anyway. And I was already supporting Labour to win that election. I didn't believe they would necessarily, but I wanted them to. I thought it was the most important thing for our country that Labour won the election. And so I pivoted from Just Stop Oil to Just Stop the Tories, because that was the way to actually stop oil.
We've just heard Energy Secretary Ed Miliband speaking, and he announced his new policy that homes would have to be insulated. The onus would be on landlords to insulate those homes. Is that the sort of policy that you're looking for here?
Well, I think it's a good policy, actually. There are millions of homes in our country that are at the minimum standard or below. Ed's policy that he just announced is to bring them up to level C. People live in damp, cold homes, they get ill. In the extreme cases, they die, and it's affecting millions of people in the private and in the social housing sector, and this applies across both. I think it's a good thing.
And in terms of the environment, is that the right way we should be going?
Yes, saving energy is essential. Making energy from the wind and the sun is important, but reducing the amount of energy that we consume is a really important part of that often gets overlooked. It's the cheapest form of energy we can make, actually, the energy we don't use.
Have you had any conversations here about sewage in rivers?
Only with Fergal Sharkey has it happened.
How did that go?
Oh, usual stuff. You know, he's a lively, fun character to chat to. We're on the same page on sewage and rivers. But the thing that I've been telling people, I've done a couple of panels, is that actually the biggest culprits of sewage in our rivers are not water companies, it's farmers.
Farmers?
Yeah, farmers. Not farmers' own toilets, but from animal farming, industrial animal farming.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I'm giving a talk later, The Cow in the Room, and the essential message here is that we're overlooking one of the biggest driver of the climate crisis and the human health crisis and the nature crisis, and it turns out it's also the biggest cause of pollution in our rivers. It's runoff or simply pumped out of factory farming, animal factory farming, chickens, cows, pigs.
What's the solution to that?
End factory farming. Yeah.
What about sustainable farming? Is there a way to go about farming sustainably?
The thing is, we have factory farming because it wasn't actually economic to grow cows and other animals in the way that we used to do it, which is what is now called sustainable farming. We don't have enough land and all of that kind of stuff. So the industry we have now is it kind of like is part and parcel of our current diets. If you look since the Second World War, the consumption of animal products has gone through the roof, and the rise of industrial animal farming has allowed that and enabled that all at the same time.
Can I talk to you more broadly about Labour Party policy at the moment? There has been some talk amongst the commentariat that their discussion of the £22 billion black hole left by the Conservatives and the sort of tight grip on spending that they're planning to have is damaging the economy. Is that how you see it?
It's hard to know, isn't it? I've heard that as well, as if like Labour are talking up a recession or something like that. I don't know if it's true, but I mean, we all know that when there's talk of, let's say, a toilet paper shortage or something like that, it actually happens, it manifests because people rush out and panic buy. Whether people are panic saving right now because there's some badness coming, I don't know.
As an investor, is it discouraging you?
No, but nothing does.
Can I also ask you, there has been, looking ahead to the autumn statement, there has been some discussion that we will have tax rises on the people with the broadest shoulders, and that is apparently discouraging people with the broader shoulders from staying in the country. Do you think you're going to be leaving anytime soon?
I'm not leaving anytime soon. I don't think very many, if any, people will leave anytime soon. And for those that do leave, I think they should leave, because if they're not prepared to pay their fair share of tax in our country to live here, they shouldn't live here.